Well, thank you so much for taking the time to meet today. I know that these testimonials really help others kind of get the perspective and see why many of the members choose to pledge, and it really makes a difference on the stewardship campaign. So thank you.
Okay, well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, and I really enjoyed your testimonials last year. And as part of the Stewardship Committee, I highly recommended that we continue it. So we appreciate the work you do too.
Can you start by just sharing how long you've been a member of the church?
Yeah, we're trying to remember. We've been coming to the church for 7 years, and that was when Roger was interim pastor at the time, and we actually took the membership class with Roger, but we decided to wait to see who the new pastor would be before we actually became a member. So we took the class again after Adam came back, and we decided that it was we were at the right place to be. So it's probably 6. I don't know how long's Adam been here? Probably six years then.
Okay, wonderful. And this year, our stewardship campaign is really focusing on kind of the great loves of the church. Mm-hmm. And so I want to ask a little bit about some of those. So where do you see the love of our church changing lives?
Well, I've thought about that, and I think it starts with what Adam says at the beginning of every service. Just we welcome everybody, and of all backgrounds and truly everybody. And a lot of churches say that, but a lot of them don't actually walk that and do that. And I've seen it. I think there's many people here that would not be going to any church if we weren't truly welcoming, and I see that in the entire congregation. So I think that's the start of it, and that love shows in the outreach ministries we have, the home plate, but we support a lot of local activities and also international ones too.
And how has the love of our church changed your life?
I think the love of the people have really made me feel not just part of the community within the church, but the whole Hillsboro community. We moved here from Beaverton, and I didn't feel like I was, like a Hillsboro person, but the people that I've, met and interacted with and shared experiences with in this church, they've shown love to me, and they've made me feel really comfortable and much more a member of the community. Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
How have you been called to love through the church?
Right. Well, it's kind of an extension of the love that I've gotten from the people here, and the kind of commitment to love of the church and the community is that now I feel like I should be also participating and returning the love, and supporting local community outreach. As well as international.
COVID has certainly changed the way we've been doing church over the last year. So I'm curious kind of how any of that's changed for you over the last year, or what some of the things you've done or have helped you stay connected to this church and continue to fulfill this call to love through the church amidst COVID.
Right. It's been tough because it's, you have to go out of your way to stay connected with the people. And so we've had to do some of that, and whether it's through Zoom or calling or sending mail, and but we felt like it's important. That's the biggest thing that we've missed for COVID is the virtual services have been great. We've been, really happy with that. We can be in our pajamas. We can be, as Sue said last week, we can be drinking coffee. But I miss seeing Sue and Jennifer, in the pew ahead in front of us. I miss everybody, and you don't get that part of the interaction and the personal interaction. So we've had to really make sure that we can maintain the connections.
It's certainly been different, but we've all kind of found our ways to stay connected. If you don't mind sharing, can you talk a little bit about why you're making a pledge to the church and kind of how you went through that process of deciding what and how to give?
I think one of the things that it goes back to the second class I was telling you about that we took when Adam taught the membership class. We had been members of a previous church, an Episcopal church, for many years, and then we joined some large non-denominational churches. Which one of them, the membership requirements were more strict than the requirements to get into heaven. So I decided not to be a member of that church. But we felt that the people and the love of this church, we strongly wanted to become members. And in that class, he had us pair up with another person in the class and make discussion about what it means to be a member. And my answer was that you're part of the community and you're part of the religious and outgoing community. But something that the other person said that really made me pause was that you're responsible for the church. And that's something that I didn't, I kind of knew it in the back of my mind, but I didn't really realize that. And that's a big part of why it's important to me to pledge and to contribute to the church, because I'm a member and I'm partially responsible for making sure the grounds are nicely maintained and that the church has heat. That's it, all that stuff comes with that responsibility, and I take that very seriously. And it's also other things like people who work there, the staff is very important to me. They're very good. I've being on the Stewardship Committee, I've worked with Laura, and she's great. And also when we went through the search as a church for the pastor, we had really high standards, and I think we did a good job of picking Adam, or the search committee did a good job of picking Adam, and he should be adequately compensated. We don't just have a good pastor for our flock, but he's been a leader for the whole region. So we have to adequately compensate him, and as a church we voted to do that, to meet the standards. And so that's why it's important for me to contribute and to pledge. And the way we do it is Tamara and I sit down every year and we discuss our budget. And this is kind of a good time, because in the early part of the year we always talk about budgeting throughout the year, and we discuss what we can afford and what we can contribute, and we settle on it as a married couple.
Thank you so much for sharing that and that bit of personal information, but that really helps share some of the perspective of how you make those decisions in your family. What would you say to someone else who is considering supporting the church?
Well, I think it's just important to, it's there's lots of ways to contribute. I know when you were a graduate student, you couldn't afford much, but you came in and you volunteered. I know I worked with you in the parish hall after church, serving the snacks and the coffee. but also the financial support is very important, and it's necessary to do what we need to do to be able to provide to people a good worship service. And there's lots of other groups that use our church. We need to have a good building and good support for that. So I think it's very important if you want to, if you believe in the church and what the church does, then it's going to cost money to keep it open.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, and thanks for pointing out too how many ways there are to support the church, both through time and through financial donations. And it's so important to have all of those things to keep the church running. So I really appreciate you sharing, and this really does help others see into why our members are supporting the church, and how we can continue to spread the love and serve through love with our church. So thank you so much for taking the time to chat today. It was great to catch up and great to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, thank you.